Hello, my name is Milton, and as you already know, I was in jail with Wes Watson for some time, and I have with me right here Wes Watson's paperwork. That's right. This is straight from Wes Watson's prison wallet into my hands. And in this video, I'm going to reveal Wes Watson's big plans to start a major industry and business that will be manufacturing, producing, and selling custom prison wallets. And when I first saw these plans, the first thing I began to think in my head was, I need to find a way to be a part of Wes Watson's business plan. And Wes Watson would only just scream at me when I was like, "Yo, Wes, can I help you with the startup?" He'd be like, "Shut up, soy boy. You wouldn't know a startup if it slapped you right in the face." He said, "I don't need you or anybody else helping me with a startup." And so after getting screamed at for Wes Watson for such a long period of time, I began to hatch a plan in my head, and that was I was going to steal Wes Watson's blueprints for his custom prison wallets. And that's what I have right here, and that's what I'm going to reveal to you today. So, as you can see, it took a lot for me to get this from Wes Watson because he traveled from Broward County all the way to Miami-Dade with this keistered in his prison wallet, along with a file cabinet full of other paperwork, most notably his prison charges from Cali, Arizona, and Florida, which he was quite proud of. And I've already discussed on a previous video how that bus ride went. But out of all his prison paperwork, I always felt like if I could just smuggle one thing out of Wes Watson's cell and to get one thing out of Wes Watson's prison wallet, probably the most pertinent and the most exposing piece of information that I can get, the most exclusive piece of information that I can personally get from Wes Watson's prison wallet was this piece of paper right here. This is the original blueprints that Wes Watson designed while he spent his first night in Broward County, and he was reflecting on what his next steps were going to be. And as I open it, you can see it's in its original form. I did everything I could to make sure that I preserved this paperwork and the way anybody would want to preserve an ancient scroll, And this is it. Be prepared because I'm literally going to blow your mind as I expose Wes Watson's big prison wallet, custom prison wallet enterprise plans. There it is, right there. As you can see, it has a lot of staining and it actually, smells. And Wes would always tell me, I'd be like, "Yo, Wes, why does it smell like protein powder in your cell all the time and peanut butter?" He's like, "That's not protein powder and that's not peanut butter. Don't you know that I have to get everything out of my prison wallet so that I can keep stuff in my prison wallet? Haven't I taught you anything? Don't the homies ever teach you anything? Haven't you seen Training Day? You never had your pushed in." And I'm like, "Yo, Wes, chill, Wes." He's like, "I am chill. I just have a lever, a notch, and it turns when stupid soy boys like you say stupid things inside of my cell. Furthermore, you didn't ask for permission to walk in this cell." And I'm like, "Yo, Wes, I was just bringing you your cup of coffee." He's like, "I'm tired of you and the freaking cups of coffee." I'm like, "Yo, Wes, calm down, dude." Anyway, this was the one piece of paperwork that Wes kept close to him at all times. As you can see, we're going to go over this and dissect Wes's plans for his custom prison wallets. Right here in the corner, the first thing that you notice is you see Wes's logo, which is Wes Watson, the two W's, which he has tattooed on side his face. Now, I want y'all to know one thing. As I began to be friends with Wes, he's very persuasive. And he would convince a lot of people to do a lot of things that they didn't want to do. And there were definitely guys in prison who began getting the WW tattooed inside their face, the Wes Watson tattoo, because they wanted to be a part of Wes Watson's program. I mean, Wes Watson's plans were so big, he even was telling people, and this was paperwork that I wasn't even privy to, he was planning on moving his whole operations to Dubai. He said he had connections in Dubai who could help him start a Dubai chocolate, Wes Watson custom chocolate, straight from the prison wallet. Um, Flavors. And I'm like, Wes, that's kind of far fetched, don't you think? He's like, don't you know that you're not thinking deep enough? You know, your mind can't grasp the atmosphere of space and time and everything that reflects and usually comes back to people like me who's programming on better wavelengths, deeper wavelengths than you ever could, soy boy. And, you know, I'm like, all right, cool, Wes, chill, dude. He's like, I ain't chilling nothing. So, you know, there's the logo. And the first thing that you can notice is that he designed a wallet called the Butterfly Billfold, and it opens like butterfly wings. But I always thought it was weird because there was like this butterfly head in the middle, and it said it's a hole, you know. And as you can see, I'm like, what's that for, Wes? What's that hole right there? He's like, if you know anything, and you're too stupid to really understand anything, that a prison wallet in all reality is nothing more than, you know what I mean? Your bottom. He said it's a hole. So I want to give the people something that they can put their paperwork in. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be stashing and stuffing stuff inside the regular billfold. So I'm creating a wallet, a custom wallet with a hole in it so that you can put paperwork and maybe your smoke right in that hole. He said, I don't want the wallet to be stacked up like on Seinfeld when George Costanza was kind of sitting like this and it was really uncomfortable. And he said, I made that thought to myself that when George Costanza was uncomfortable sitting on his prison wallet, I'm traveling from Broward County down to Miami-Dade stuffed up with paperwork. There's got to be a better way, right, homie? And I'm like, yo, Wes, I'm not your homie. I'm from the South. We don't call each other homie. He's like, oh, man, you don't know what you're talking about. That's your problem. All the rest of the prison systems need to confirm and conform to the way the homies do it. I'm like, yo, cool, homie. You know? And so that is how you get Wes Watson's butterfly billfold. So the next thing that I want to specifically point out is if you look here in the corner, Wes had some notes. And his notes say that he had, you know, prison wallet, custom prison wallet enterprise, you know, custom fits. But the thing that I want to point out is at the bottom that he actually was thinking about having P. Diddy as his spokesman. As you all know, Wes has, you know, some infamous pictures out there floating around in the YouTube and, social media atmosphere of him and P. Diddy together. And I actually asked him about that. I said, yo, Wes, so you and P. Diddy were really close? He's like, that is a relationship that I don't want to talk about with you or anybody else. I keep it close to the chest, homie. And I'm like, yo, cool, Wes, whatever you and P. Diddy got going on, that's between you and P. Diddy. And so, I'm like, can you find a better spokesperson beside P. Diddy for the custom prison wallets, considering what he's going through? He's like, I'm not stupid. He said it was just my first choice, but unfortunately, Diddy's all locked up like me, and that's what they do to good homies. And I'm like, P. Diddy's not a good homie. He's like, you don't know a good homie when you see one. I'm like, yo, cool, Wes, cool, man. And so I really thought that was interesting, but there was another piece of information on these blueprints that I thought was super information. As you can see right there, it's actually a sketching of a fanny pack with some frillies and a bow on it. And that was something that the homies inside the Miami-Dade were asking Wes about. They were like, yo, Wes, on the street, we noticed that you don't keep an actual wallet on you, but you keep kind of like a man purse, a satchel. He's like, yeah, that's what I prefer to walk around with because if somebody tries to take something from me, I can go straight from the chest. And I'm like, yo, Wes, that's pretty smart, man. But I'm thinking to myself, are you misleading people, Wes? Why is this, I asked him, I pointed to it. I said, why do you got bow ties and frillies on it? He's like, because the custom prison wallets just aren't for soy boys like you, but they're also for females. I thought this thing through. It's going to be a big business plan, and I'm going to make fanny packs for the females. I'm like, yo, Wes, cool, man. I said, but there's some other concerning stuff on here. He said, what's concerning? I said, Wes, you asked me to be honest with you about your custom prison designs. And I asked him, there was one thing that really bothered me, you know what I mean? If you notice at the bottom of the paper, a lot of the prison design wallet designs are rounded, and there's this one right here called the bell pepper, and it's actually called the bell pepper, and he wanted to design it with sheepskin. And I'm like, yo, Wes, you got the bell pepper, and you got the southern fuzzy peach, and these are both wallets, y'all. They're billfolds. He's explaining to me. You open them like this, and I'm like, Wes, I get that you want to try something different with the rounded approach, but why not, design a billfold like a skull? He's like, nobody wants skulls for no wallet. You relate southern peaches and bell peppers to wallets because a wallet is, you know what it is. And I'm like, yo, Wes, cool. He's like, furthermore, the number one seller on the list is going to be the Wes Watson custom prison wallet designed specifically on Wes Watson's. So I asked Wes, I said, yo, Wes, you designed a wallet with the measurements of your own glutes. He's like, yeah, what's the problem with that? He said, a lot of people idolize me, and I want to give them something that they can have of me. So a prison wallet with the dimensions of my prison wallet makes the most sense, doesn't it, soy boy? I'm like, no, it doesn't, man. It seems kind of gay. He's like, who you calling gay? I said, yo, Wes, I'm not calling you gay. He said, let me tell you something. When I was in Cali and I was on the yard with a homeboy named Glutamus Maximus, I said, you was in the yard with a homie named Glutamus? He said, Glutamus Maximus is the same dude that they based the movie Gladiator. And I'm like, yo, Wes, why don't we just sit down and do a little more reflecting again? And he's like, yeah, one good thing you're good at, soy boy, is getting me to calm down and reflect, but I'm not liking it because you keep acting like my freaking psychiatrist. And I'm like, yo, Wes, I've never studied psychiatry. I make no such claims. And he said, that's just it. You play mind games, mental games, and I'm the freaking mental gymnastic genius here, not you, soy boy. Let me tell you something. And I was like, yo, Wes, calm down, man. What about Fresh and Fit? He said, you keep bringing up Fresh and Fit. He said, that dude had me so amped up that day. I said, yo, Wes, he was a good dude. Why'd you go off on that dude? He said, I don't know, man. That guy was kind of everything I always wanted to be. I said, all right, Wes, cool, we're getting somewhere. You want to get a sip of your coffee? And he boom, he kicks the coffee over and the coffee spills. And I'm like, yo, boy, I just triggered something in Wes here. And he's like, nah, I really need to get this off my chest. That guy on Fresh and Fit, I mean, I may have had the physique. I may have had the body. You know what I mean? And I cheated to get the body that I got. It was hard work, yeah. But I took some stuff that I shouldn't have took. I'm like, yo, cool, we're getting somewhere. I'm just kind of being quiet, listening to him. And he's like, that dude on Fresh and Fit had everything I want, a family. He was happy. He had friends who loved him. He had a job that he enjoyed. He said, I kind of created this persona for myself, and I don't know how to escape from it. And I said, yo, Wes, that's the deepest thing I've ever heard you say. He said, you shut up, soy boy, because I'm about to get my iron right out of my prison wallet, and if that iron comes out the wallet, I'm going to go to poking. You know what I mean? Homie? I'm like, yeah, cool, Wes. And I kind of thought to myself, we need to end it here. And he was so amped up, y'all, that as he was yelling and screaming and the coffee was kicked over and he don't like a dirty cell. Wes programs like the homies, in Cali. He preaches that discipline. And that's when I saw an opportunity to swipe Wes Watson's blueprints. And that's what I have right here, smuggled straight from Miami-Dade County. I've revealed to you today Wes Watson's plans for custom prison wallets, and he's going to move his operations to Dubai, according to what I'm understanding. I don't know how his charges are going to go, but I got more information on Wes Watson's canteen list and Wes Watson's plans on what he has planned next on how to, program and get things back in order and get his mentorship programs back up and running. And I'll share those on another video. I'm going to ask, the pen and the shank to put this paperwork up on the post page so you can look at it and view it for yourself. And maybe you can share the blueprints with other people so we can get this information out there.